Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showcasing Infor Client Link technology and how you can use it to your advantage. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to show you how Client Link actually works and how the technology works. But before we do this, what does Client Link actually do? Well, it is an option for you to control your XA client, and it allows you to open up profiles of customers, vendors, basically whatever you like. So to showcase all of this, I'm going to go into the vendors list and I'll select a random vendor. As soon as the profile shows up, I'm going to click into navigation and say client link request, and I copy this right here to my clipboard. Then we switch to code view, and I will now show you how you can use that request within an application. First off, we need to add the DLL from Infor to get all the functions that we need. To do this, I add the p2mpi01.dll file to my project. As you can see, there it is. The next thing I need to do is I need a variable, and I'm going to call this one statement as a string, and I just paste the request here. Next, we need to declare a function, and this one's called sendBrowserMessage from the library p2mpi01, and with the argument message as string, and it returns an integer value. And basically the last thing we need to do is just to say send browser message and what message it is supposed to send, and we're done. So I click on build and we can test it. So I have switched back to the testing system, and all I need to do now is to double click my application file to make it load my vendor's profile. Now that's fine and all, but how does it help me in the everyday business, you might ask? That's a brilliant question, so let me show you an example of usage. One of our customers has requested a tool which allows them to open up the profiles of their customers in XA as soon as they receive a call from a phone number known to their system. For this purpose, we've created the CTI tool. It works by matching numbers with a table of the user's choice, and you can configure that by using the configuration file. As you can see here, the table as well as the columns which are being used are completely up to you. And by using Client Link, you can do whatever you want as long as it's supported by Infor. So let's assume for a second that you would like to see a vendor as soon as he or she calls you. So we go into the vendors list again and select a vendor. What we need to do now is we need to click on navigation and say client link request once again, so that we can retrieve the request, or in this case rather the template. So we just copy all of this and close it again. Now this statement that we have just copied can be used in the application, and I have the exact same one right here, as you can see. Now you might have noticed one little thing. If you copy these requests, the vendor number is always the one from the profile that you have retrieved it from. In this case, you see a text saying value 1 instead of the vendor's identification number. And this value 1 thing is basically what makes our tool work. Let me show you what I mean by that. I go into the other configuration file again, and as you can see here, you can completely adjust the initial SQL which is being executed in order to match the phone number with a data record in your database. So the result of this initial search query can be defined by yourself. You can just say here select ID and choose all of the columns that you would like to retrieve from the SQL query, and if you say it is select ID number 1, then you can use it later on in your client link request by stating value 1. So for example, if you would say this is select ID number 2, you could use that by saying value number 2. And this basically gives you the option to fully customize all of what our tool is doing in case of an actual call. But let me show you how it works in a live demo. I just call the program with a number that I have entered and I click on the enter button. And as you can see, it shows up the caller in the bottom right corner, and I have the option to show or hide. In this case I'm going to say show. To make it open up the profile of my vendor. But there are even more options. You can modify your initial search query or display and hide if you don't like this graphical user interface. So if we go into the configuration file again, you will notice several options that allow you to customize your usage of the tool. For example, if I say GUI 0 and I save all of this, which I do, then I can show it to you again and it will not prompt me for a yes, no. Instead, it will show it instantly. But you can also execute another query using the results of the first one that I've just shown you. And lastly, you can fully control the reaction of the application. So as I showed you before, you can use whatever client link template request you want to use. All of these features are already part of the finished product and allow you to fully customize it so that it perfectly suits your needs. If you are interested, contact us. Even more modifications and adjustments can be made, and there's a whole lot of other things we can implement on your request. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for your interest.